Namaste Green Wave, it's Miss Amy, and today we are gonna go on a mindfulness walk through my garden, and we're also going to notice some of the herbs that are also essential oils that you can grow in your own garden, along with the variety of fruits and vegetables that have been planted here. So we are going to mindfully walk through the garden. And remember, with mindful walking, we use our eyes to see, our ears to hear, which helps us to be more present, more aware of our surroundings. So you can practice mindful walking at your house, when you're at school, when you're at the beach. No matter where we go, we can practice this mindful walking with more presence and more purpose. So to start off, we have the herb basil, which is grown right here. And basil you might know from pasta sauce or on pizza, and basil is an essential oil. So when these plants get sent to a factory, they get distilled. So all of the oils come out of the plants, and that's how the essential oils are made. My plants aren't turned into essential oils. I just buy the essential oils from Young Living. But we can also notice on these basil plants how the insects or animals have been eating the plants. So we can notice what's similar, what's different with the basil plant that we have right here. And basil, again, has good flavor for pastas and pizzas. And then over here, we have the peppermint plant. So peppermint is also an essential oil. Peppermint is good for focus. It's also good if you get headaches. It's very cooling in the summer. And this is where peppermint comes from. And you can pick some of these leaves and put it in water, and it will infuse your water, kind of like Gatorade or any of the flavored waters. But this is a natural way if you are growing peppermint. And you might be familiar with the taste of peppermint in gum or in toothpaste. But this is where peppermint comes from. It is a plant. And then we're gonna move on. As you can see, we have lots of things growing here in the garden. These flowers are squash. You might be able to see those little yellow flowers there, but the squash are growing here, along with onions. You can see the stems of the onions growing here. So gardening can be a form of mindfulness because you have to care and nurture your plants by, watering them, tending to them. So gardening can be a mindfulness practice. And here you see we have more basil over here. And then over here, these are the green bean plants, the green bean stalks. We may or may not see some green beans growing, but we can do our best to see. As you can see, there's a lot of plants growing here. So that's how the green beans grow. And then back here, we have to be super careful because there's a lot of plants here. But these are, we have a sunflower plant that is growing right here. So it hasn't blossomed yet, but the sunflower is growing. Back there are more grapes. As you can see, we have a grape vine here. We have some grapes. You can see there are blueberries growing. So those are fresh blueberries that the birds, they love to eat the blueberries. The raspberries were back there, but as you can see, they had their season. And you can watch another video where I mindfully picked the raspberries, but the raspberries are back there. And then over here are the fig trees, and you can notice some of the figs growing on the trees here. You might be familiar with figs as the cookie of Fig Newton with the fig jelly, but these figs will be ready in about a month. So they're still growing, as you can see. And we can also notice the wind blowing the leaves of the figs. And then as we mindfully walk over here, we can see more of the grapes growing here in the grape hut. So we can notice what's similar, what's different with these homegrown grapes. And the vine that they grow from is actually over 100 years old, which is pretty cool. So you can see the grapes everywhere. They're also not ready to be eaten because they need to turn purple. So they are still in the process of ripening. And then over here is a greenhouse that my dad built out of recycled materials. And this was helpful in the winter time to start to grow some of these vegetables. And as you can see here, there is a basil plant that's growing over here, and also inside the homemade greenhouse, that's a parsley plant. Also, you can add that to pasta. That's some more basil growing. But this got up to over 100 degrees in here. As you can see, there's a thermometer back there. But this is a homemade greenhouse for our vegetables in the garden. So you can see more grapes are growing here. And then we are mindfully gonna walk through the garden, and we have some chocolate mint over here. So this mint tastes just like mint chocolate chip. So again, I wish we could taste and smell over technology, but that is chocolate mint. This was the strawberry patch, but again, the strawberries had their season, so they're no longer flourishing, but that's where the strawberries were growing. There's some more strawberry plants over here. Some more types of squash. Over here are all of the tomatoes growing. They're still green, so they're not quite ready yet. We need them to get red. Over here, we can see the eggplants are growing. So you can notice we have different color eggplants that we can use mindfulness with. So they're still taking shape. You might have had eggplant parmesan before, but as we notice, mindfully see the different shapes and sizes of the eggplants. There's another one. Again, these are all organic, homegrown, right in my backyard here in Long Branch, New Jersey. We also have lots of peppers, as you can see. So these peppers are ready to be picked at any time. And again, we can practice mindfulness, noticing the different shapes. Like that's a bell pepper. And then we have the lighter shade peppers here. Again, what do we notice? What do we see? And then again, these are the tomatoes that are still growing. So you can see they're green. So they'll be ready soon, but they just need to turn into that red color. And then in the summer, I usually make different pasta sauces or just eat them fresh because they're just so juicy and tasty when they're homegrown. And over here are more basil plants. And then back here we have dill. So just like how you may eat dill pickles, dill is also an essential oil. So again, the oils, they come from the plants. And then we also have some blackberries growing here. There's many more blackberries growing in the corner over there, and that was another raspberry bush. And we're back in the fig trees. As you can see, these figs are really growing strong right now. So this is mindful gardening, taking a mindful walk through the garden. And again, just noticing, what do you see? What do you hear? And again, gardening can help us to eat more healthy, to make good, healthy choices. So just noticing, what do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? Imagining the different fresh smells of the veggies and the fruits. And again, we can practice mindfulness wherever we go.